So I think a few people have heard, but we had a hell of a snowstorm come through Thursday night and a Friday. We got like 18 inches of heavy wet stuff, plus a little bit of wind. At one point, there was like 200,000 people without power in southern Maine, if not more. The entire town that I live in didn't have power, as well as a few around them. And as of right now, there's still, I think they've got 400 people turned on, 500 people turned back on. It's not a lot. I just heard from the fire chief in town, there's 1,000 line crews and tree crews in from out of state as far as the way Michigan got here this morning. So things are going to get turned on, but it's going to be slow. So Friday I pretty well snowblowed most of the day and kind of laid low. I got a hell of a nap. And then I had to work yesterday. So that kind of put a damper on anything as far as getting stuff back together. Friday night I did check the home woods, and there was a few big branches that came down on some stuff. That was all easily put back together. And then I went over to the big woods, no power there obviously, and I went down and I drained the releaser just so that thing wouldn't freeze up. Had to work yesterday, and now I'm headed over to the big woods. I got the four-wheeler loaded. I gotta stop, get some chainsaw gas, but I'm gonna try and get in and see how bad this really is in there, to see if it's worth trying to get back together to finish out a few days of sap, or if we're just done. Because if it's bad, I'm not gonna have time to get it back together. Bridget had a dance competition this morning in South Portland that I went and watched for an hour, saw her dances, and then now it's almost 11 o'clock and I'm just getting in the woods. So hopefully it's not as bad in the woods, but I think it's going to be bad. So we'll find out. Luckily the buildings are okay. There's just some branches down up here. Pump out line's in good shape, and it looks like the vacuum line is too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the wet dry line on the way up and kind of use that for my base, and then start up top and try and get it from there, because that's where the majority of the taps are without sap ladders. Well, B1's down, and that's a broken wire up here at the tail hold tree, so that one's not getting fixed right now. B2 got whacked. It's got a broken wire someplace. Probably fixable if I had time, but not worried about that one right now. And the wet dry's down. Damn it! That's a mess. There's a lot of damage in here. C system's got some trees on it. I don't think that's terribly messed up, but there's issues over there, and just about every lateral's got a branch on it of some sort so far. But I got that opened up. That's just a few posts and maybe a side tie, and I think this is fixable. So I don't know. The wire looks like it might be loose too. There may be a broken wire in there. I can't tell. I can't tell completely, but it looks like A3 is up. I'm gonna go look. Nope, it's down on the upper end. This may be a lost cause. There's a lot of lateral damage up here with trees on laterals, but A5 is up the whole way. It doesn't even look like it was hit. A4 looks like it's up. A3 is down. But I can go around the top and check on that. So this one here has a side tie on it that just uprooted. What I can do is I can just move that side tie to this one here. I'll grab that big pine instead of one of these small ones, and I think I can get this one back up, but there's something else down up here too. This is up on the upper end of the C system that is not really a huge piece of woods, but it's kind of worth checking everything here. So a lot of lateral work to do up here, but the mains aren't terrible other than that one side tie on C4 and 5. Oh, almost went down. We'll go down and see how bad it is on the lower side of it now. Cut my way down this C system here, headed towards the big ladder, and it's down, but I think everything's together. It's just side ties maybe pulled down, but it looks like a mess up here through the swamp, which will be real easy to get back together, but this is a mess in here. There's a lot of damage. So things are bad in here, like bad, but I can't do anything until I get power figured out, which I've got a generator, and I've got the plug and the wire, I just got to get it wired up. So I'm gonna put the call out and see if anyone's around to help today. And then if I can get power up, I'll get the wet dry fixed. That gets the upper section all set. This B section is junk, and I know that. Maybe B3 would be the only one that's any good, but B1 and 2 are junk. It's broken wires and everything. So if I can get power, then I can get some sap coming. Generator finally running. We had to fight with that. We had to numb it down because it didn't want to run because it was overvolting the VFD. And now the VFD, we've got things running, and I've got it kind of controlled manually, and the pump's starting to warm up. So we're making vacuum now, but it's not happy because of what's going on with everything. So I got to babysit it for a second, but Josh is here and Jeff's here. They're headed up in right now to start getting ready. We'll see if we can get that wet dry up. And I'm gonna walk up in and shut the valves off and do that type of thing. So Josh and Jeff took the four-wheeler. They're headed up in. That thing is running in okay shape right now. That VFD doesn't like that dirty power that the generator's making, and the pump's still warming up. So it's not a happy camper. I've got it running in manual mode right now, not in vacuum sense. But I'm gonna start closing things up here and shutting some systems off that are, I know they're leaking. So the other thing I do is close the drain in here too. This wet dry may go back up easier than I think. I know we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 posts that are getting swapped out. These just fell out of the way. I think they're in good shape. It's just a matter of putting everything back together now, but get this stuff done and get this thing back together. So I pulled the Genius move and brought the generator over there, not full on fuel. I thought it was when I put it away. I guess I honestly never checked. And we get up in there, the wet dry is up in the air, the wires broke on the dry line, but frig that thing for right now if I can get something up there. We had the pump running. It doesn't like the generator, but it'll be all right. But I had 20 inches of vacuum after I shut off the B system and the C system, but I know I've got a bunch of issues up top. So it's all fixable. But now I'm gonna run, get 10 gallons of gas, get that thing fueled up. But I just passed some of the guys from CMP and they think they're gonna get that road heated up tonight. So if that happens, then life gets easier-ish. But Josh and Jeff, they're in there right now still trying to get the trees and the limbs off of everything going up through the A system, because if we can get the A system up, then we're in good shape. And I'll bring some tools up and try and get everything put back together and find some leaks. But we might get the A system back together tonight. Just the dry line, probably not this year. I found where my dry line wire broke. It's right here. I had a gripple on it, which they're not my favorite thing in the world to use at all. And really, I don't want to use them, but I am actually going to use it right now because I'm going to be able to pull this thing back together. I'm just going to take and throw a splice. I'm going to cut a piece out, put a splice in, and then I've got one of the gripple tools. I could jack this thing back together because it's going to get me by for now, and then I'll do something different here for next year. But gripple, again, even though they're junk. I got this splice in and then wasn't paying attention, and now I got to mess with the dry line here, having some extra. I'm just going to put a stick under it to get me by for tonight because I wasn't really, I don't know. It's still not right. It's slack down there, but it's better than it was. So we're not sitting terrible on vacuum. 24 inches right now on the monitor. Some part of the system is off, so that's not reading at all. But for what I got right now, I'll take 24 inches at the releaser. So the guys are working on A3 right now. I'm gonna run up and check for leaks as I go and try and get ahead of them and get what I can while they're running the saws. But I think we're gonna be able to make good progress and probably get A1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 ready tonight, hopefully. So one downside to tapping way up high is when you get a leak way up high because it ripped it apart and it's way up there. So we gotta try and get this one down to get it hooked back up. Stop because I figured this would be a thing.
Yep, I bet you did. Ta-da!
That's awesome, huh? Same spot where we had a big mass maple weekend a couple of years ago was up here. Day 2 of storm cleanup in the Maple Woods. We got power back at the Big Woods last night at like, I think it was 7 or 8 o'clock. I went over to shut the generator off. One of the neighbors let me know. Having good neighbors is, like I've said before, it's worth its weight in gold because they let me know power is back on. I was able to go over, shut the generator off, get back online power, and then woke up this morning to power at home, which I was not expecting because there was quite a bit of work on our road. But we'll take it. I gotta go to the bank, change the battery at the Blake Road Woods, and then I'm back to the Big Woods to try and get that in shape. A few quick fixes over there and then some big work. I hope this all isn't for nothing. Today's Sunday, I have to work tomorrow, so if we do boil, it would be Tuesday. I did go down to the releaser last night at the Big Woods, and what I had turned on the A system was pumping in. So that tells me that I've lost 2 days of sap probably, and you know, it is what it is. But hopefully we get good sap. What came in last night, today what I get turned on, and then tomorrow, and then we'll boil Tuesday, and then hopefully go longer. But I don't know, there's a lot, most everyone is pretty well done around here, and really everywhere now, so we'll find out if we're gonna be done. But we'll get this stuff done and then we'll get over to the woods again. All right, upper end of the C system right now. Yesterday I did a hero move, lost my clippers. So before I get too much tracked up in here, I'm gonna backtrack from where I used them last, see if I can find them. Then I've got this side tie here that I'm gonna replace. That'll get this upper piece good. Head down C1 and then work on the C2, get those back up, and then the C system should be in pretty good shape. Got them right where I used them last on that splice, so kind of knew they'd be close to this area. That's all. Maybe I get one more down here, but that's pretty much all the brushwork on this C1 main. I'm gonna go down, turn it on. I know I've got 2 leaks. One, a hook connector just pulled apart, and then one, the hook actually broke off it. C1 is up and running. There's no leaks on that. I got those few splices replaced. That one's good, and it's actually running okay. The wind's blowing now, so not great, but C2 now, I'm at the top of it because we had a saddle that got ripped apart. This is one of the old leader saddles, and I lucked out because I don't have a lot of parts for these hanging around anymore, where they weren't available for a while, but this is the piece I really needed, and I brought a gasket, so I'm gonna be able to put this one back together and get this one up. And then it's a little bit of a disaster down there, but I don't think it's terrible. I was a hero with the chainsaw today and nicked one of the lateral lines because I was in a hurry, so I get to fix that one too when I find it. It's 10:30 now, and I've got the C system up and running and all the leaks checked. So that's definitely further than I thought I would get. So now what I'm going to do is jump down, start working on the B system, and kind of just evaluate. I think B3 might be in better shape than B1 and B2, and that's got more taps. So if I could fire that one up sooner, but really I need to check the B main coming up out of the releaser and make sure that's good first. So I may get everything on today. We'll see. I mean, I got a lot of time left, so we'll find out. And here's the B system. Wires broke up here for sure. Laterals everywhere with branches and treetops down. It looks okay-ish down through here, just a lot of tree work. But I guess I'll just start working my way through here. A lot of work here. I made my way down to the B main, almost to the releaser. I could just about see the building here. And I lost a side tie tree. This hemlock uprooted and laid over, and it's creating a mess down through here now. And part of the trouble is there's not really any good side tie trees on that side. That one's already compromised, so I don't really want to hook onto that. Really, that's going to come down and make a real damn mess in here is what it's going to do. And then across this little brook, there's not a lot of goodness left. It's not perfect, but it's certainly far better than it was. This B2 line has got a wire broke, but it's on the second segment. So there's a ratchet right here, and it actually broke right at the ratchet. So I'm just gonna splice a piece of wire in, tighten her up, and this one's back on. I had to cut the wire off the pipe because the pipe was stretched and it was just not going well. So it's loose right now because I only had like 15 wire ties with me, but I could fix that later. This is enough to get this thing at least running. But wire's back up. I just put a splice in, and then up there is where it's loose and I can deal with that later. B2 is up and running now, except for that issue with just the low spots where I didn't have enough wire ties. And now I'm on B1, and I originally kind of written this one off because it just looked like hell. But I went down through with the saw, got the brush off it. There's like 50 taps here, somewhere in that neighborhood. And what actually happened here was a tree came down right here, and the tail hold, the wrap around the tree is what let go, and there was a gripple on it. And the gripple was the weak point, which you need a weak point at some point. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a new loop on here, put the ratchet back on, run a piece out, put a splice in, and then try and just pull this thing back up. And I think I'll get it pretty easy. I mean, a lot of walking back and forth because there's posts on this one that are all leaned over, but it shouldn't take that long. So. This is pretty well put back together. I don't have wire ties, so I can't hook it up the rest of the way, but I've got to take the generator back anyways, so I'll get some ties and I can do this one and that one up there then, and then I can finish putting all this mess together. I can probably pull it up and hook it on the hooks though. But I'm gonna go down and turn the vacuum on now. Just wove the end of that down through there, so this actually gets me by for now, and then the vacuum on, that's that much more that's, well, actually, that's everything that's back on now, and it's like 1:30. So I did not anticipate being able to turn everything on at 1:30 today. I figured this B system was a total lost cause, but hey, we'll take it.